Three, two, one. The Doctor Dances by Kimsey. Lovingly borrow the things. This is not to be used for commercial and or whatever use. It was written by myself. This is a fun thing. The Doctor Dances, Part 1. He wandered the dark halls of the TARDIS. The steps of his victory march got heavy and slower. His elation dissipated into the air with each breath. It had been such a day. He had one day. Just give me one day like this. His boots were barely moving now. Everybody lives, Rose. Just this once. Everybody lives. The tendrils of hundreds of timelines were restored to live their lives. Time clicked on in peaceful circles around him, ticking, beating away with his heart. There was too much going, flowing, ebbing, and ticking away. Always changing, never stopping. Run! Always running. However, tonight he had remembered to dance. Rose's hand had caressed his gently in a spin. Her turn was more important than the rotation of the stars. Her golden hair spun in circles around the console. Jack had tried to cut in a few times, his American grin plastered on his face as he tried to sway the girl back into a swing. Somehow, Rose's hand always found the doctor's leather-clad back, shoulder, arm, and ultimately hand. Their bodies had been close as he pulled her in for a tango. T-A-N-G-O. He stepped with her effortlessly, letting their hips touch closer. She needed to come closer, mold to him, be with him. He pushed her forward for another dip, lower this time. Her flexible back almost let the tips of her hair touch the grating. Ultimately, tangy music of the accordion stopped. Rose was left. She looked up at him with half-lidded eyes, laughing. The doctor looked down at her and smiled. He abruptly turned away, lest he burn her. Everything he touches burns. Her body was heat. The music gave him a pretense, but he didn't dance every day. He had one day. Doctor? Rose panted. Well now, look at the time. Jack has already gone away. I believe it's time to call it in. Rose hid a yawn beneath her hand. I can do a few more, she smiled, shaking her hips. Her hands would eventually crack and blister under his touch. She would burn. Coward. Every time. Rose rolled around restlessly and kicked off the heavy pink comforter and sheets that were weighing her down. She sat up breathless and looked around. There was a strange music permeating the room. It was beautiful and sad. It kind of sounded like a string quartet. She passed her hand through the empty air and it was vibrating. She shivered off the goosebumps. Something was tugging at her hand. The air whispered. Without hindrance or heed or a destination, she grabbed a hoodie and some shoes and set out. The music set at a higher tempo, and her heartbeat acted as a metronome. Her footsteps wandered aimlessly through the endless halls. Run! The voice was louder. The music softened, and she turned her head to the wall of the corridor. Rose? A hoarse voice asked. She tried to keep calm when she met his dark, icy eyes. Doctor? Rose answered the Time Lord and joined him against the wall. He was silent and looking off into the distance. What you doing here? She tried to ask lightly. He collapsed further into the wall. Just this once, everybody lived. Unfortunately, it won't always be that way. It hasn't been like this for a very long time. It won't happen again anytime soon. His voice was a whisper. She wasn't used to that. We even danced. She smiled and found his hand and drew small circles with her thumb. We can dance. Win? Celebrate again? I don't remember how to dance every day, Rose. He looked at her with his brow drawn. Then you just need a partner to take the lead. She got up, dusted her pants off, and pulled his arm gently. Can't you hear the music? It's something like a classical with violins and stuff. The doctor slowly got up and placed a hand on his waist and quirked a bow. You can hear the music. It was a question posed as a statement. Never mind that now, doctor. She paused. I want to dance, and the lady wants to lead. Oh, did you stay for the whole story? There's a few more parts to it. So if you would like to see more, subscribe, tell me what you think. Doctor Who is owned by the BBC. All characters involved are owned that. I was just lucky enough to play with the characters and have some fun. The words that the characters spoke and all the pretty was done by me. How the story ends. Give us a like, give us a comment. Thanks for watching, subscribing, looking at it, and dancing with the doctor. Have a great one. This is Kimsey or KZ. I don't know. I'm still working on the name.